Cam's stats are better than John Elway.
You're saying if John Elway's in the Hall of Fame, then Cam Newton should be in the Hall of Fame in the NFL.
Well, if the Super Bowls are the difference, I can understand. But stats-wise, Cam Newton has better stats than John Elway.
What about Matt Ryan? Because you've already said that Matt Ryan shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
No, I don't think
so. You would put Cam Newton in the Hall of Fame and not Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
Asinine.
I would.
Absurd.
Well, I mean, Matt Ryan's numbers.
That sounds like some.
I'd have to look at Matt. I'd have to look at Matt Ryan's numbers.
That sounds
It's
like
not even
college.
I'd have to look at Matt Ryan's numbers, but I was comparing it to John Elway.
Yeah, but John Elway went to 5 Super Bowls. I mean, it's people will die on hills on what's Hall of Fame and what's not, but I just think when you're looking at John Elway, Cam Newton, just the sample size isn't big enough.
That is true.
Matt Ryan's 8 all-time on the passer list in the NFL.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. Golden State defeats Boston to even the NBA Finals at 1-1. Former Georgia star quarterback Aaron Murray joins us to talk all things college football, and the race to Omaha heats up in college baseball. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. The Warriors took home a must-win Game 2 Sunday night by dispatching the Celtics 107-88. The narratives will fly today, and there'll be some experts that reach and some that relax. Me, I'm in the latter group. The Celtics accomplished their mission of taking one of the 2 games at Golden State to kick off the 2022 NBA Finals. And I want to win every game, just like I'm sure the Celtics did. But to take anything other than that Celtics have the advantage after these first 2 games is borderline foolish, in my opinion. What I am noticing is that, like the NBA as a league now, this final series isn't going to be won by one person. Long gone are the days where a single megastar can individualize his way to a championship for a franchise. That's why I've dubbed this finals with the moniker the Role Player Finals. Look at the huge difference in the role player output for each team going from Game 1 to Game 2. In Game 1, Horford, Smart, and Derek White combined to not only outshine the Warriors' stars, but their reserves as well. Jaylen Brown had a great night, but it was more the role players than the superstar Jason Tatum. Also in Game 1, Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney, Iggy, and even Draymond didn't pull their weight, allowing the Celtics to not only hang in the game while Steph went nuts, but win it in the end. Jordan Poole also registered a minus 19 in Game 1, which is putrid to say the least. Game 2 was the polar opposite. Horford, Smart, and Robert Williams only combined for 6 points. Robert Williams only had 2 rebounds. That's just as big. While Jason Tatum had a pretty big game. It's going to take more than a one-man army to take home this trophy, though. And I feel like the Celtics bench is just deeper. And that will only be boosted by them playing in their home gym the next 2 games. The Celtics in 6 is still my prediction, and I'm holding steady. Speaking of holding steady, we got some merch now at the dailywire.com/shop. It's under Daily Wire Originals.
Feels
Little
great.
Crane & Co. Booster Club. Good teams win, great teams cover. Well, it's there. It's live right now. We're going to keep adding stuff to it. So if you got the sticker, great. Go get some of the shirts. They're awesome. We're going to keep adding to it. Almost as awesome as Tessemae's, maybe equal awesomeness when you look at the awesomeness between Tessemae's and the shirt. Don't get any Tessemae's on the shirt, but we got some great merch coming out, David Cone.
I love it. Replacement Cone looks sharp there.
He does.
Got
he
the
does.
Booster Club merch on. Back to the Celtics. Look, we know that they have been Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde a little bit. In their run here leading up to the finals. And it doesn't bode well when 3 of your 5 starters only have 2 points apiece.
True.
But I feel like if you're going back to Boston right now, you have to feel pretty good. Even though they're barely 500 at home, you did steal 1 on the road, like we talked about. And Golden State had almost a third of their points off of turnovers. Right? 33 points off 19 turnovers. Your ability to dominate the Golden State Warriors is on defense in the half court. It's hard to play defense in the half court when they're getting turnovers and scoring a third of their points off that. And on Golden State side, look, if you're going to have Looney and Draymond on the court at the same time, then you need Andrew Wiggins, and you need Andrew Wiggins to contribute significantly, and you need Klay Thompson to be a superstar. He was a liability.
He was 1 for 8 from 3. Cone, where's he been?
He was a liability. And if you're going to put Jordan Poole in instead of Andrew Wiggins, then you need him to contribute significantly and consistently because he doesn't at least give you what Andrew Wiggins does on the defensive end. Steph can't do it all by himself, and someone needs to tell them that KD isn't there anymore. Superman's not going to be walking through those doors. You combine the fact that Draymond Green is a liability emotionally. You know, like he's incapable of controlling his emotions, which I think helps drive them in the front court a lot and can give them passion when needed. But he could have just as easily been kicked out yesterday.
True.
Before halftime, he could have just as easily been kicked out as he was allowed to stay in the game. I think that they need to figure out a way to control him emotionally, and Klay has to deliver.
Yeah, Blaine, if Klay, again, it's a great point. You've watched Jason Tatum's sidekick, Jaylen Brown, doing his thing. He even had a good game last game, came out really hot in the first half. If Klay does not get this going, I don't see them winning a game in Boston, which means you're going back to Golden State, okay? I mean, down 3-1.
I mean, it depends on how much Klay gets going. I don't think we should expect 30-plus points from Klay.
I'm not saying that.
Klay needs to be above 20. He needs to shoot well from the three-point line. Klay's a good defensive player.
He is.
Which is big for the Warriors. And the one thing I look back on this game, and if it was the other way around, the Celtics defense would have got so much credit in this game.
Yeah.
You never really hear much about the Warriors defense. I mean, they ended with 15 steals. They had 40 points in the paint. And you go back and look at Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum last game was minus 36. That's one of the worst plus and minus performances.
In game two?
In game two. In the NBA Finals history. The thing that scares me right now for the Warriors is that it is only Steph. If you're Klay, you can't wait for Game 6 to ball. You can't be Game 6, I'm that guy. To beat a team like this, and you have to play at least somewhat consistent game in and game out. And I do think Draymond is starting to find the line on being a liability emotionally. I think Draymond is playing that card in this series to somewhat get into these young guys' heads and get them out of their game. He was flailing around, taking people to the ground. He was pushing the limits on what the refs are going to call.
And he went after everybody on the Celtics team.
There's a certain mental game, and I said this before the series started. There's a certain mental game that Draymond will try to play against these guys. Draymond wants to be living rent-free in these guys' head. He's there. No, he's there. Wait, I thought I saw him here. Oh, wait, he's right here. Draymond knows how to tiptoe that line. He's been there in the finals with the pressure. He knows how to work you emotionally for you to do something stupid. And he did make the other, I can't remember exactly who it was. It might have been Smart, but they got some texts. I know Draymond got a text, but they got some texts.
He got a foul on Tatum.
Yeah, so
Tatum
Draymond will play that game. And it has gotten to the point where it might hurt you, but I still think this series will come down to Klay Thompson. How good does Klay Thompson play? I mean,
well, if he keeps playing like this, the Celtics are going to win the series, and we're going to get Aaron Murray here in a second to talk a little college football. But the last thing I do want to say about this series is that at some point, Robert Williams is going to have to start dominating down low in at least a couple games. At some point, you can't go in there and get 2 boards. You can't go in there and be Robert Williams against the Golden State Warriors, who aren't exactly the Tower of Terror down low, and only get 2 rebounds. Grant Williams is going to do what he does. Jason Tatum's going to do what he does. Jaylen Brown's going to do what he does. Robert Williams is in there to rebound and catch the lob and protect the rim. Those are the 3 things. Rebound, protect the rim, catch the lob. Because if he's catching the lob, that means they're getting in the gaps. They're going to get everybody else spread out. That's what I'm interested to see if Robert Williams is going to have one of those big games. But speaking about big games, let's go ahead and bring in a guy that had a lot of big games in the SEC. Again, the dude's thrown for more touchdowns than just about anybody on the planet. Mr. Aaron Murray, CBS Sports, SiriusXM, former Georgia standout. The dude's in everything. AM, what's up, man?
What's up, man? And, when you play for 4 years at the University of Georgia, it would be a shame if I didn't own every record in the SEC. So.
Oh, well, look, Aaron, we all know you were slinging it. We were talking about a little bit earlier some of the old games we remember watching you play. I want to start, man. Me and you on social the other day kind of had a debate going on, and I think it's very interesting because, look, we know that C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are the 2 favorites to win the Heisman. I'd be willing to bet all of King Midas's silver that one of those 2 are going to win the Heisman. But KJ Jefferson's intriguing to me, Aaron, because of something you just said. He's now been in this system a while. He's going to know it almost as well as Kendall Briles does this year. And watching his maturation process as a thrower, and this is something I think me and you have talked about before. It's hard to put a natural throwing ability, whether it's having a big arm, being able to throw the lollipop screen, throw sail when you're out there in doubles against quarters. KJ looks like he's taken steps for me. How do you feel like KJ Jefferson will perform this year? Because I got the Hogs going 10-2, Aaron. That's my only thing I'm gonna say before we put where we think we're gonna the SEC is gonna end up at.
10-2 is aggressive, and I'll go back to your Heisman odds. I mean, don't forget about Will Anderson. I think Will, to me, he's the best player in college football. If we just take away, obviously, this is a quarterback award. This is a running back, receiver, skill position award. Will Anderson is the best player in college football. And I hope he gets a little bit, obviously, even more attention next year. And I think he should be a guy, if he has a similar season he had last year, should and deservingly win the Heisman at the end of the day. So we'll see. Alabama just has too many superstars, and you always get that Alabama fatigue factor in there as well. But to your point about KJ Jefferson, I had the opportunity last year. I covered KJ twice. I had him versus Auburn, and then I had him versus Missouri at the end of the season. And to see his progression throughout the year, his comfort level in the pocket, his footwork. I mean, he's a mammoth kid. I remember I was on the field before the game, that first go-round, and I stood next to him, and I go, man, this is – if I looked like this, I would not be talking to you right now. I'd still be playing in the NFL. I mean, he's an absolute mammoth of a human being. We know what he's like as a runner. And if you're going to want to win an award like the Heisman nowadays, you got to be able to do most likely a little bit of everything. You got to throw the football, got to be accurate, and you got to be able to run it and get those touchdowns inside the red zone. He's a huge threat inside the 5-yard line. So, yes, he progressed along the year. That's what you like to see. I think he's like a 70% completion guy there in November, which is really, really impressive. So can he take that next step this year? Can he continue to be an accurate thrower? I think so. Obviously, he's losing his best weapon. I thought, honestly, and I'm going to be honest, I thought he should have left this past year.
Really?
I thought where he ended the season off, I don't think he's going to get that much better. I compared him to Jalen Hurts. I said, hey, he's a better version of Jalen. I think he's a similar passer, still needs a little bit of work. He's a bigger kid, can handle the running in the NFL better than I think Jalen's going to be able to handle, just not as thick. So I thought he should have honestly left. He stayed. Good for him. I wonder if NIL played a role in this or not. But Heisman, I don't think so. I think there's too many guys I think are better, that have better weapons around him, that are going to have better numbers.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that I preface this, and I did on social media too. I think he has a good chance to get invited to New York. I think it'd be right now, just looking at it, CJ or Bryce for me. But you bring up a great point. I talk about this all the time, Aaron. Ndamukong Suh didn't win the Heisman. Honey Badger didn't win the Heisman. Will Anderson's going to have a stupid year, even though they're going to double him, which is going to make Dallas Turner look like Dwight Freeney for the whole year when he comes up off the edge there. But I just don't think we're over the stigma of not giving offensive players the Heisman. Somebody's got to break the ice eventually. I hope it's Will Anderson. But as a defensive guy, Aaron, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. I'm just not.
No, and why should you? But listen, these guys, yes, it's great. I mean, everyone wants to win the Heisman, especially if you're a defensive guy to win it. I mean, it's just you're in your own freaking category, for goodness sake. So if the award goes to if the award goes to the best player in college football, not the best quarterback, not the best offensive guy, the best player in college sports or college football, it's hard not to watch Will Anderson save and say, damn, man, that dude is an absolute terror. He's a beast. He's unstoppable. I think if he has a similar year, he's going to be invited to New York. Does he get enough votes? Does he get enough love? Does he get enough attention? Do we talk about him enough? Do we talk about him as much as we talk about Bryce and, the quarterbacks and whatever running back that does show up during the season next year? So, but just pure talent, but it's harder for them to make as big of an impact. I played with a guy in Jarvis Jones my junior year. Jarvis just missed being in the Heisman category. I think if we would have won versus Alabama, I think there was a good chance he may have gone above Monte Teo from Notre Dame. But Jarvis was a guy that every game was making plays, big sacks, fumbles, strips. He was a force, and I think he was number 4 or 5, so didn't get the invite, but was kind of right there on the border. It's possible Will Anderson will be there, I think. It's just going to be hard for him to win it, which is sad.
Yeah, I agree. Aiden Hutchinson finished second, this last time. And speaking of Monte Teo, I don't know what disappeared quicker, his girlfriend or his NFL career. Go ahead.
Ooh.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that a defensive player has won the Heisman, Mr. Charles Woodson.
Okay, Cone, you always do this.
And look, it has to be said. It has to be said. But, Aaron, while we're in the Big Ten, let's talk about the Buckeyes real quick, because they could possibly have the best tandem in the country with C.J. Stroud and Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you add in Travion Henderson into that mix. Clearly, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with on the offensive side of the ball. Will they make enough improvements defensively to make the college football playoff and possibly win the national championship?
Well, if the offense looked like they did all year, and if they especially look like they did and the was it the Rose Bowl game when they were just throwing up stupid numbers. I mean, it's not going to matter. I mean, the only reason they lost to Michigan at the end of the year was because it was snowing, and they still actually played pretty darn good on the offensive side of the football. Defense, as you alluded to, just did not want to tackle, and Michigan just ran right through them. So, offensively, it's going to be tough to slow that team down. I think C.J. Stroud is, to me, he's my favorite quarterback in college football heading into next season. Mm-hmm. If I had to pick a quarterback next year with that number one pick in the draft, or whoever needs a quarterback first, I'm going with C.J. Obviously, the top receiver in the country on top of that. So they're going to be scoring 40, 50 points a game. Can the defense just get even a little bit better? Yes, I think so. Very young last year. I think those guys mature. They just got to keep teams to like 30 points a game. They'll be fine. So this isn't a powerful offensive league. This isn't a league where you have to score 40, 50 points a game in order to win it. I think, like I said, they just unfortunate. Michigan was really good last year. First time in a long time they were that dominant. It was snowing. It was nasty. It was more of an odd game that was built for Michigan to win than what Ohio State could do. So obviously you're praying for no snow next year once again when you face them at the end of the season, but you get them at home, which is a positive. So yes, I think Ohio State's defense gets a little bit better. And that's all they need to do, just a smidgen bit better, and they'll be most likely in the college football playoff at the end of the year.
Well, I don't disagree with your take on CJ over Bryce, even though I will say historically the Buckeyes quarterbacks haven't done as well in the NFL, but they do dominate on the college level. And since you're talking about Michigan, Michigan and Cincinnati both made the college football playoff last year, and they had never been there before. Do you see a team making the college football playoff this season that hasn't been there before?
USC, right? Pac-12.
Yeah.
I mean, what they've been able to do and the guys they've been able to put together there. I mean, it's free agency. What we are seeing now in college football free agency, it's could be tricky. It could work. It could not work. We'll see. I mean, to get a bunch of kids that are 18 to 22-year-olds to come together to focus, especially in California when all this NIL money's flowing around, when all these distractions are coming, there is talent there. In a league that we all know is not very dominant. So the path to success is going to be interesting because they do have a very talented team. They got the quarterback who, I thought was really good last year, was very green, made a lot of mistakes, especially in and outside the pocket, just, eyes dropped at times, was trying to be too much of a playmaker. If he can mature and kind of clean up some of that stuff, I think he could be pretty darn good. They got the talent. They're in an easy league. There's a clear path to obviously get to the Pac-12 championship, to be able to make it to the Final Four. So I would say they could be that team to me that can make the jump. I don't see another group of 5 team making it right now. When you look at it, I think Cincinnati was in a spot where they've built their brand. They had the quarterback, really love Desmond Ridder, love what they had on the defense side of the football. They've been winning so consistently that you knew if they were going to get undefeated, they were going to have a chance to get in there. I don't see them having that kind of success once again. So Cincinnati's out. And like I said, I don't see another group of 5 team that has built that kind of brand over the past few years that can make that jump and earn that respect to make it into the playoffs. So go Trojans. Let's see if we get a Pac-12 team in there.
They might.
Bold pick, but I like it.
Hey, fight on.
At the end of the day, you're in the Pac-12, so I mean.
That's true. What's the Booster Club saying?
Yeah, one second. I got a question for Aaron. Aaron, I got one question for you, all right? Right now, all right, because these two guys in front of me are somewhat, they'll knock Stetson Bennett a little bit. Definitely not.
Whoa.
Definitely not.
No,
guys. Right now,
everybody knows that's a
would
lie.
you rank Stetson Bennett a top 5 quarterback in the SEC?
I'm rounding off the quarterbacks in the SEC right now. I would. He won a freaking national championship.
Yes, thank you.
And I always tell people there's a lot that goes into the quarterback position. If being a quarterback and being a successful quarterback was all about how big you are, how far you can throw a football, I would have never played it down at Georgia. I mean, I'm 6 foot, pushing 6'1" on a good day with average arm strength. I mean, there's a reason why I only made it 3 years in the NFL. I'm just not a big, imposing dude. I don't have a rocket arm. But at the college level, I outworked everyone. I was a competitor, and I made everyone else around me better. And I think that's what Stetson does so well. Like, there's a confidence level. There's a reason JT wasn't the quarterback last year. He was ready to play middle of the season. Yeah. Kirby looked in that locker room. He saw the guys in that team believe in Stetson. They did not believe in the rest of that quarterback room, and that's why he stuck with Stetson.
Yeah.
Stetson's nowhere near as talented as some of those other guys. He's nowhere near as talented, I would say, as most of those guys in that quarterback room right now. But what he does well is he has a lot of confidence. He makes the guys around him better. Guys on the team believe him, both on offense and defense. And if you can make the 10 guys around you play at a higher level, that makes you better. And if you have the defense playing at a high level, that makes the offense better too, because you get better field position. So Stetson is an ultimate competitor. He's an ultimate leader. That you have to factor that into what being a quarterback is all about. I even talked about this last week with someone when comparing Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is so much more physically gifted than Tom Brady. Who has more championships? Tom Brady. You know why? Because he makes everyone around him play at a higher level. When he got to Tampa, what did they say? Every player in that locker room, we are so excited Tom's here. We're working harder than we've ever worked before. And not saying Aaron's not like that. Tom is just the ultimate guy when it comes to making those around him better. I think Stetson has that ability. He proved it last year, and I think he can go do it again. So, yes, I would say Stetson's a top 5.
Okay, Aaron, on that point, I need you to join me on this journey. We're going to get to the Booster Club. Throw the questions in the Booster Club. I know you got some. I want to retire the term game manager for exactly what you just said. Because to me, if I have a quarterback, I don't care if he's 6'8", if he's 6'4" or 4'6", if he can't manage the game, then we're gonna lose. It's like calling a pitcher a game manager. What the hell do you mean? Half of my job is to manage the game. It's not just throwing. It's not just verbally communicating. It's not just running. You have to manage the game. Therefore, every quarterback that's worth his salt should be a game manager. So can you join me on this journey to retire the term? Let's come up with something else. Let's come up with another term. He's not as athletic, or I don't know, some cool scientific term that I'm not smart enough to understand.
I think that the issue is when we get to it's the difference between people say you're either a playmaker or you're a game manager. Mm-hmm. And I think when people think of game manager at the quarterback position, they think of a guy that just checks it down, dink and dunk, dink and dunk, dink and dunk. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's good. You have a high completion percentage. You protect the football. The problem in today's game, most of the time, unless you got that elite defense, you have to create explosive plays down the field. You got to get chunk plays. You got to get the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50-yard plays in order to have success. It is not easy to dink and dunk and have consistent success against these defenses, some of the top defenses in the country. You've got to take some shots. So I think that's when people get confused. I agree with you 100%. Like, you have to manage the game. That is a part of it. You have to understand when to take your shots, when to check down, when to be smart, when to protect the football. All that stuff goes into being a quarterback. But you have to tie the line, or toe the line, of being a little cocky.
Oh, for sure.
The best quarterbacks I know are the ones that feel like they can make every throw out there. And you're going to make some mistakes every now and then, yes. But in order to get the big plays, in order to get a bunch of points on the scoreboard, you have to have that confidence that I can thread the needle on that dagger route, that post route, that corner, whatever it is, and you got to let it go. So I think that's where people kind of get confused. Yes, a game manager is someone that does everything. A playmaker is a game manager, but then has a little bit more risk on top of that.
Let's just call him the conservative QB or the dinker. I don't care. I know it's a little bit out there, a little bit weird, but it's the dinker. Blaine, what's the Booster Club saying?
Oh, yeah, we got a question here from Brendan Moore, and he's talking about your Georgia Bulldogs. He says, what position/position group needs to step up this season for Georgia to repeat?
I think the receiving position. I've been down on the receivers at Georgia for a few years now. I think they've been very average, non-existent at times. Obviously Pickens had some – never could get his mind right on the field, was always messing around, spraying water bottles in people's faces. Like, just hone in and focus. And obviously we know he's pretty darn talented. He made some big plays down the stretch. But at Georgia, he never, to me, reached his full potential. So I think that, obviously last year, a lot of injuries. Guys were hurt, banged up, couldn't play. Kieris was not playing for the majority of the season. Just not a lot of consistency. Yeah. So I like where they're at right now. I love A.D. Mitchell. I think he's a young kid with a lot of talent, really good looking body, made some big plays, especially against that, down the stretch to win the game versus Alabama. I think Ladd McConkey's a stud in the slot, made some big plays throughout the season. Keep Kieris healthy. They got some other good talent around them. So if they can stay healthy, if Stetson can continue to build some chemistry, I think that's a position group that can get better. And I'm looking forward to them getting better. I don't know how much they're going to use all those guys because they got the best tight end room in America. They're absolutely loaded at the tight end spot. I would not be surprised if you see a lot of 12 personnel, maybe even a lot of 13 personnel depending on what you classify Gilbert as a tight end or as a receiver. But you're going to see a lot of those dudes, if they're healthy, Washington, Gilbert, Bowers on the football field. But when those receivers come out, they got to be able to be a lot more productive than what we've seen the past couple of years.
Agreed.
All right, Josh Ragan with a question here. He says he wants to know a team besides Georgia or Bama that could win the SEC. Good luck.
Oh, besides Georgia or Bama? Oh, man, there's not a lot.
Yeah, please, Aaron, tell us. Tell us which team
Vandy?
outside of Georgia and Bama is going to win the SEC.
I'm intrigued to see what A&M looks like. I thought A&M's, they've built a team right. Obviously, on and off the field, they've done a good job of building that roster. I'm a big fan of Max Johnson, and I don't know if he's going to win the job or if it's going to be Haynes King. But when you watch Max play last year without Kayshawn was hurt, his best receiver, without an offensive line, without a running game, where everything had to rely on Max having a Heisman-like performance in order to win on a very average football team, I thought he played pretty darn good. Now all of a sudden you put him on a roster that's been developed, that has top-tier 4- and 5-star guys, that has a quarterback guy like Jimbo. I think they have a potential, and I think he has potential to take a step forward this year at A&M if he's the guy. I'm not sold on Haynes King. I think Haynes is a great athlete.
With you.
He reminds me a lot of what was the Ole Miss quarterback that converted to receiver? I'm drawing a blank right now.
Was it Plumlee?
Yes.
Yeah, John Reese Plumlee.
John Reese Plumlee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, John Reese Plumlee. He reminds me a lot of him. Great athlete, get the ball in his hands. Is he a quarterback? I don't know. I think Max is a guy. I love his arm. I love his legs. He can run a little bit too. Needs to work on speeding up the process. But let's not forget, last year was his first year starting, for goodness sake.
Quarterback's kid too, Aaron. Quarterback's kid.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I was with Brad 2 weeks ago talking about it. So,
Trick shot Brad, man.
Yeah, I mean, trick shot Brad. No, it's Big Bad Brad. Big Bad Brad.
He's doing trick shots.
I think if one of those quarterbacks can get going, I think A&M could be an interesting team this year. Plus, I just want to see that rematch versus Alabama with all this craziness going on.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
But that's it, because I don't see anyone in the East.
No, I mean, maybe Tennessee just because of the style, could they slip up? But they go to Athens, and that defense is still Tennessee. When you go that speed, if you go 3 and out 3 or 4 times in a row against Georgia, they're just going to squeeze.
I do love Hendon Hooker though.
I do too.
He's nice.
I think Hendon's to me, I'm really excited about him. Kentucky will be interesting, with Will back at quarterback. I like him a lot. But the East, to me, Georgia's here and everyone else is fighting for 2, where I do think A&M has kind of closed the gap a little bit. I'm interested in seeing with LSU with Brian Kelly, his first year. I think they got some talent on that roster. Shoot, they got a bunch of guys drafted in the draft last year. And
you know how LSU is, Aaron. You know how
LSU has players.
Yeah.
And I think they got some good quarterbacks. They got Kayshawn, so they could be a team that could be sneaky good. But, I put my money on A&M if anyone.
Yeah, we're here with Aaron Murray, CBS Sports. It's a great job, SiriusXM. You'll see him everywhere. Too, I will say with Brian Kelly and LSU, I feel like Brian Kelly for LSU is the stepfather that you get, that you hate at first and then don't realize you love until you graduate cum laude from Harvard. You had Les Miles that was eating grass and talking to trees. You had Edo that was smoking grass and selling trees. And now you got Brian Kelly in there who's kind of like, all right, guys, here's what's going to happen. Here's how we're going to do. You're going to make your bed every morning. You're going to start hanging out with better friends, and you're going to do your homework. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you look up 20 years later, and he's your best friend. You guys are crying at your wedding together when he tells them how much of trouble you used to be. That's how I feel like Brian Kelly is to LSU, which is great for LSU because you just got to wrangle that fan base and all the players in. Because, again, you have so much talent in that state, and there is no Auburn. There is no, other school in the state that's going to take away players. We always talk about that. But Aaron, man, great stuff. We're going to have you back on. You're doing an unbelievable job, man. Excited to see you call some games this fall. And let's keep it going. Football. We're 82 days away, I think. Woo. Let's just head to the ground, eyes to the ground. Let's just walk it there.
Speaking of the state of Alabama, I got one of those. That every fan base does the 90-day or 100-day countdown, and they start listing the players. So, of course, it was it UGA, Alabama Barstool posted the Quentin Dial hit of him completely taking my head off for day 90 days till kickoff.
No. What about Nick Fairley, too? Nick Fairley's 90 days, too, though. You survived both of those.
Yeah, I got just demolished by 290s. I actually was seeing my chiropractor today, and I was like, "Yeah, this is why I'm seeing you right now because of this damn hit from Quinn Dotson."
But no, Aaron, I appreciate it, my friend. It's always a good time. I know we'll talk soon.
See you, fellas.
All right,
Appreciate Aaron.
All right, Aaron Murray, always a great guest. Listen, YouTube's going to stay up. Obviously, no video. If you want video, go over to thedailywire.com. Audio, stay here. We're still going to keep the YouTube chat hot because we are doing maintenance on the Daily Wire chat, so don't freak out. It's going to be back there eventually. But if you're not a member over at the Daily Wire, go ahead and just scamper on over there, become a member, or you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review. This is what we do for our job. If I came and saw you at your job, I'd give you a 5-star review. So that's how that works. Share it with all your friends and make sure you check out the new Crane & Company merch that just dropped today. Some people are calling it, Vera Wang, everything, the greatest merch line ever made. I'm not going to go that far,
I heard that.
but I feel like we're close. Replacement Cone's wearing the Booster Club shirt. Are you really in the Booster Club if you don't have a shirt? And then remember, good teams win, great teams cover. We all know that. We'll be right back with more of mind-blowing sports analysis you never thought you'd hear. I've started doing a segment called This Ain't It. And today, I want to talk to really sports in general. The Tampa Bay Rays just announced that 5 players during Pride Month didn't want to wear a gay pride sticker on their uniform during the game because it goes against what they believe. Not that they hate a certain group of people or that they're discontent. It's just not what they believe. My question is, when did we start taking the bedroom to the ballpark? Why do we need a pride night? Why would we need a hetero night? Why would we need a I fell in love with my toaster night? It doesn't make any sense. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care who you fall in love with. I don't go to the ballpark to find out what sexual orientation you are. I don't take my son or daughter to the ballpark to explain to them what's going on, whether it's gay, straight, diagonal, slant pass, or whatever. I'm trying to find when we started doing this. There is nothing wrong, in my opinion, with loving who you want to love. That's not my bag. I do things a certain way. But to take it and put it on a uniform makes it a uniform decision. You're almost forcing the players who don't agree with that or don't live that lifestyle due to religion or other circumstances to partake in something they shouldn't be put in a position to partake into. Again, what you do in your bedroom is up to you. I don't care. But there's no reason we should take the bedroom to the ballpark. Nobody should know that. To me, it alienates a group more if you're going to have Pride Night at a ballpark and then have take your dog to the ballpark night the next week. What's next? You're going to make people have to put I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim on Muslim night or something like that? Stop forcing players to wear stuff on their jerseys that isn't a sponsor or isn't a cause that everybody is together about. This is not a we shouldn't have Pride Month. If you want to have a parade, have a parade. I don't care. But we don't have heterosexual night at the ballpark because why? Nobody cares. I'm not going to watch the Guardians play the Astros to be able to say, look, I just want to hang out with a certain group of people that choose a sexual orientation. I go to the ballpark to watch a ball game. If we hit a home run, I'll give you a high five. I don't care if you're gay, straight, or whatever. At some point, we need to stop doing this because it makes no sense and it's counterproductive in sports. So to the Tampa Bay Rays and to sports that want to interject sexual orientation into the game, this ain't it. And it's the truth. I don't understand why we do this. I don't get it.
Yeah, it seems like we've gone from don't discriminate against me or else you're a bigot to you must discriminate in favor of me or you're a bigot. And at what point does an organization have the right to tell an individual what they must support and what they must be associated with, especially when those go against deeply held beliefs?
Yeah.
The thing is, these organizations don't have any unshakable principles. So if you see a team or an organization doing something that you support, they're doing it because they can make more money off of you that way. Same thing if they're supporting something that you don't agree with. It's up to the individual to have unshakable principles. And if we go against that, like what are we going to have left as a society?
Well, again, if we're going to do this, and you're going to single out a group of people. Why is there not heterosexual night? Why is there not I fell in love with my toaster night? Why is there not we're all Muslim nights or we're all Christian nights? Stop taking people's beliefs and interjecting it on the whole team. Again, even in the locker room, I don't care if I'm playing for the Rays, I don't care if you go home at night and kiss a guy, girl, whatever. You know what I care about? Are you going to get the sign to steal? Are you going to be able to come through in the clutch when there's runners on second and third? I'm not going to the ballpark to celebrate being gay. I'm not going to the ballpark to celebrate being straight. I'm not going to the ballpark to celebrate being a pansexual or whatever. I don't think there should be a place for that when you go to the ballpark, the arena, or whatever. Again, you want to have a parade downtown? Have a parade downtown, knock yourself out. But there's certain aspects where it shouldn't be. Why am I going to have to explain to my daughter or son why it looks different at a ballpark because a certain group of people are being highlighted? It's not like we're highlighting firemen or we're highlighting the police or something. That's different. You are basically saying, listen, this group of people is in love with this gender, sex of people, and we want to let everybody know. Who cares at a ballpark? Nobody cares. That's not why you go to the ballpark. If you want to be gay and go to the ballpark, be gay and go to the ballpark. Nobody's stopping you from doing that.
Well, I mean, when was the day that sports stopped being sports, right? And you got to think two things. One, I love toasters.
I do too. I love toaster strudels.
Toasters are phenomenal. I might be in love with my toaster somewhat. I mean, it does a great job, works hard every day. But two, you got to feel how alienated these guys feel right now. Everything's public. You know, they're trying to, it feels like this almost trying to show the separation of the people who are actually stand up for what they're
trying to find out who,
trying to find out who it is and get them to where the vast majority, you're just going to get attacked for something you believe in. Like, there's one thing I always respect, and just how I was raised by my parents is I respect whatever religion you believe in. I will not put anything for you to do this, to do that. That's not my right. This is America. You believe in what you want to believe in. This is why this country is so great. But it's just slowly, this woke stuff is slowly ruining sports.
Well, and I think you're seeing people start to, again, whenever you have to come out in a position or against a position and say that, hey, like the players from the Rays, hey, I don't care if you're gay. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm not going to wear this because of this. Think about the position that puts people in at their job.
You're a target now.
Imagine if somebody walked into wherever you work. You're in an insurance office, realtor, you work at a cubicle, whatever, and they said, all right, it's Gay Pride Month. You have to wear this Gay Pride sticker, because if you don't, people around you are going to look and say, hey, he's not wearing the sticker. He's not wearing the sticker. It is a subtle form of making you take a position. And again, if we were talking about the police or firemen or something like that, that's totally different. Think about this. Just think about this. You're going to the game, and the whole night is based off who people sleep with. Just think about that for a second. Just think about it. Who you sleep with. You walk in the ballpark and there's a sign, Pride Month, saying, listen, this is who these people sleep with. This is who the type orientation they are. It shouldn't matter. It should not matter. There should not have to be this at a ballpark, in an arena, at a football stadium. That's not what sports is. Sports is a great unifier. Stop doing this stuff to try and make everybody pick a side on issues that have nothing to do with sports. A gay second baseman can make the plays a straight second baseman can. It doesn't matter. I don't care who you go home with at night. What I care about is, are you a good teammate? Are you holding up your end on the field? Are you able to come through in the clutch? And it doesn't matter to me. And that's how it should be. But no, they make you choose a side, and it's BS, and good for the players sticking up. Yeah. And for the people that go to Pride Night and have a great time, I hope you guys have a fantastic time, but it shouldn't be at the ballpark. It just shouldn't.
Well, good for those 5 guys for standing up.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, you want to move on a little rapid fire? You want to see the Booster Club says, Wayne?
I got the guns out.
You got the guns out? Guns out, guns out?
There we go.
There it is.
Let's start with a college baseball update. We have so Auburn is up 9-2 on UCLA right now.
What inning is it?
Top of the 8th.
Let's get through it.
Michigan, Louisville, 7-all in the top of the 6th.
Wow, Louisville jumped up 7-1 earlier.
Florida is up 2-1 on Oklahoma, but that ball game is delayed, as is Arizona Ole Miss. East Carolina is up 5-2 in that regional in the middle of the 7th.
Coastal, right? Are they playing Coastal?
On Coastal Carolina.
Yep.
Yep, East Carolina up on Coastal Carolina. So that's what I have right now, and that combined with the teams that advanced what we were talking about earlier.
Tennessee, Notre Dame,
Texas,
Virginia
Texas
Tech.
A&M, Virginia Tech, and Notre Dame.
I think one SEC team's been eliminated. I think it's Georgia, and they hit a home run. They hit a potential home run to tie the game in the bottom of the ninth and got robbed. So far, these regionals, this has been the best regionals I've ever seen in college baseball. On Monday, and I know there's been some rain delays and pushed some back, but I have never seen this many regionals not decided by Monday of the next week after the weekend where it started.
Yeah.
You have one SEC team that's been eliminated. You only have 5 out of the 16 regionals decided, and you're looking at some of these matchups, and there has been parity. There's been some chalk, but the runs scored, guys. The runs scored in these games has been ridiculous. I'm 29, 24. Auburn scored 40 runs.
Someone scored 29.
Well, see, what happens is you run out of pitching. This is where the difference is. You run out of pitching as you get toward the end of the regionals. Just like in the weekend, if maybe you had a game that you had to go through a lot of pitchers on Friday and Saturday and you're a little short on Sunday, that's why they call it throwing Johnny Holstaff at somebody. You're just going to throw anybody out there. I'm really, really excited to see where these games are going to go. And I'm very, very interested because you look, Arkansas has got a game left against Oklahoma State today. Vanderbilt's got a game left after winning yesterday. A lot of SEC teams are almost there. And look, there's good baseball everywhere. Yeah. Notre Dame and Tennessee playing each other is going to be a hell of a series because Tennessee did struggle a little bit with Georgia Tech, but they ended up turning the heat
ninth.
on later.
I was watching that game. You go back, it was the top of the ninth. Tennessee was down a run, I believe, maybe somewhere a run like or two. They got 2 runners on with an error. A guy hits a line drive for center fielder. A center fielder takes 2 steps up, misses the ball, goes by him.
Well, I was disappointed that the Georgia Southern Eagles couldn't pull off the home Statesboro Regional, but they fought hard. Notre Dame got out of that region. Yep. I think that so this will get whittled down to 8 super regionals, right?
Yes.
8 super regionals with 16 teams. That'll be a best of 3, which starts this Friday.
Yep.
And then 8 teams will go to Omaha.
Yep. You have, again, it starts just kind of whittling down. So, look, I've been absolutely in love with the regionals so far. I think you're going to keep seeing it. And, again, the teams that are able to survive and thrive are the teams that can win what, fellas, in what? Multiple ways.
Multiple ways.
Say it. You got to be able to score at the dish. You got to be able to shove it on the bump. So, I'm very excited to see some of the matchups today as well. What's the Booster Club saying, Blaine?
We got a little Steve the Pirate here, and he has, does anybody beat Tennessee? They seem absolutely unstoppable. Their entire team is like 6'2". Like a kid in the 10-year-old baseball that hits bombs all over the place and strikes out every batter.
I don't think so. Again, I think Tony V has captured all the dark energy from the stereotypes of baseball players and said, go be that way. If you look, Tennessee, the reason people hate them, and I love that he did this. The reason they hate him, it's because they have embraced the baseball player stereotype, cocky, arrogant, does not care, screw you type attitude. They have embraced that at Tennessee, and you are watching them play like that. They celebrate with the fur coat. They have fun out of there. It's different if you're showing somebody up and you're just okay. They're beating people to death out there. You deserve to have fun. And Tony V, like him or not, he's cracked the code a little bit. He went Alan Turing, and he's figured it out.
They're definitely the Slytherin of the regional.
Oh, they're the Slytherin they're the Slytherin of college baseball.
Written all over it.
So where will that super regional be? Because they're playing.
It's in Tennessee.
It'll be in Knoxville?
Oh, it'll be in Knoxville. They're the number 1 overall seed. They're going to host regardless. The way it works in a regional is, obviously, you have your top seeds. Like, for example, Auburn, I think 14th overall. Vanderbilt, I'm forgetting who they're playing today in their region. Oregon State, who's a 3 seed. Yeah. Those 2 regionals are matched. So if Oregon State wins that, I believe Auburn has to go to Corvallis. If Vanderbilt wins that, Vanderbilt has to go to Auburn in what would be some SEC on SEC crime. But that's what happens when you get that late in the game with the way the SEC dominates in college baseball. Blaine, one more and let's get the
All right, we want another.
Rest of rapid fire. That is a lot harder to say than what you think. The rest of rapid fire. I need Bart Simpson that on the
Mac
board.
Stewart, all right, says, can we talk about Texas State being close to eliminating the number 3 team in the nation?
Yes, I don't want to jinx them, okay? I am a baseball guy. I've always been a baseball guy. Therefore, I'm very superstitious. And they're also in the Sun Belt. So just like I tried not to jinx University of Louisiana, I was told to not call them ULL anymore, even though I want to call them ULL, and they will always be ULL to me. I didn't want to jinx them. I didn't want to
you
jinx
just called them that.
Southern. So I mean, well, I'm just prefacing it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm prefacing it. Can I preface it? Thank you. Just like Georgia Southern, didn't want to jinx it. Yes, Texas State is doing a really good job. Hope they continue to do a good job.
All right, you want to go back to rapid fire? But
Let's go back.
Real quick, Road Jammies, Michigan just hit a home run to take the lead.
Hey, we love to hear it.
Love to see it.
I didn't see it, but we love.
Well, you love to hear about it.
Love to hear about it. Thank you, Road Jammies. That's why you're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
What did everybody think about my This Ain't It today? Anything in the Boost Club? Are we
Loved it.
Yeah, don't bring the bedroom to the ballpark. It's that simple. That's my quote. I just made that up earlier today. So
Didn't really like the toaster hate.
there was some toaster hate?
No, not in the chat. They just thought you were hating on toasters.
I'm saying if you love your toast, you can love your toaster. Look, it's 2022. Anyways, back to rapid fire
Well, look, I have to give a shout out to Rafael Nadal winning his 14th French Open title at Roland Garros. Just for perspective, that's how many majors Pete Sampras won overall. Whew. So 14 French Opens, that moves him to 22 all-time, 2 ahead of both Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic. Wimbledon is coming up in 3 weeks, gentlemen. Every major at this point, he was the oldest player, he just turned 36, he was the oldest player to ever win the French Open, a tournament he also won when he was 19 years old. Every major championship, every Grand Slam now matters for these guys because these three, the big three, aren't going to play forever.
For sure.
Right? So it's a race to see who can actually finish with the most.
Well, we are seeing the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa. We're seeing that type of run in tennis from these guys. Like, for example, before these guys, it was just what? Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, you talk about Billie Jean King, all this other stuff. Pete Sampras never even won a French Open. And now Nadal's doing this. And you've been on the Nadal train. I'll give it to you, Coney. You've put your tennis savant hat on. You've led us, to the water. It's like there's only 2 groups of people I know that spent 40 years wandering, Georgia fans and losing my mind. Faith.
I want to help you.
Hill.
I want to help
Hill.
you.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
Faith Hill.
Yeah.
Hill.
Well, the surface matters so much in tennis. Clearly, Nadal is the king of clay. You take the clay surface away, which there's only one major there on clay. He would have, 4, 5, 6. He would have 8.
Okay.
But just imagine if there were 2 majors on clay instead of 2 on hard.
He'd dominate.
He'd have like 35.
It'd be double.
Do you think I could win a game?
No.
Ever?
No.
A point, maybe.
Like if we played 100 games.
No.
A point.
100 games.
No, you.
I wouldn't win one.
Not one game. Maybe a point.
You would not win a game.
Maybe
out of
a
100 games.
Out of
Because you have a
100
nice
games,
serve.
you would not win a game.
You have a nice serve, so maybe you throw one in there. He gets overzealous and just rips one and it's past the baseline. That maybe a
What if
point.
he did that twice?
Maybe a point. Twice. You still have 4. You still have 2 to go.
I would just like to see if you could return his serve.
But I got the. What about if I got the doubles lines? But he had the.
He'd still.
Could you win a game?
Yeah.
No. He's the best to ever do something, and you do it occasionally.
Yeah. No, I'm
Don't yell at me,
again,
Dad.
Yeah. Why don't you go cook something and compare it to Guy Fieri? What is that on rapid
That's
fire?
it. That's it. Yeah.
All right, Booster Club, Blaine.
Okay, all right, let's get in here.
Do it quicker.
Aaron Sabil. To those who marry their toaster, don't get into the bath with them.
Don't. Or keep it unplugged.
All right, I'll put a poll out. You want to go ahead and hit this poll?
Let's hit it.
All right.
What'd you put out?
I saw you. I literally just saw you look at it.
Blaine, I can't see. What are you talking
Can't
about?
see that? Dave, can you see
No, what do I look like
You
an
see
X-Men
this
to
right
you?
here?
How am I supposed to see
Well,
this?
Georgia repeat.
Okay. I'm going to say
Yes
no.
or no?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say people say no because they know
definitely
Alabama's going to win it. Alabama will probably play Georgia unless they play them in the first round of the college football playoff when you get to 4. I'm going to say no, 57%.
No, more than that.
Oh,
No, 76%.
76?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Bama's that good.
Bama is that good.
Yeah.
Odds that it's Bama, it's somebody other than Bama or Georgia. It's Ohio State would have to be the one. That would have to be the 3 you'd take out.
Well,
Bama,
even if
Georgia,
you take
Ohio State.
Bama out of it, I mean, Georgia lost 5 in the first round alone.
I know, but they reload. They've got a bunch of dudes, like, still. That's when you recruit the way Kirby's recruited. But while Blaine's reading another thing from the Booster Club.
You want another one?
Huh? Yeah, I'm going to walk over to the Board of Emotional Trust, Love, Life, Loss,
All right, Josh
Friendship, and
Raggett,
Friends.
our boy Josh says, can you guys do a sports movie bracket?
Ooh.
Or maybe sports movie athletes bracket?
Yeah.
Who is better, Bobby Boucher or Forrest Gump?
All right, I'll put that.
Shane Falco can go in there.
Oh, we could. If we really sat down and
Do we go
thought about
Forrest
it-
Gump?
Yeah, he's got to be in there.
Forrest Gump's got to be
He's
in
one of the
there.
best-
White Goodman.
He's one of the best special teams players
Peter
in Alabama
LaFleur.
history.
Dude, we can do this.
Yeah,
we can
let's
do this
that.
for sure.
I'm making a note of it.
Miguel Cabrera says, how about my boy Micah Dallas scoring an NIL deal with Pringles?
That was a nice move.
Well done.
There's some, not all NIL deals are created equal.
What was it? Say it
That
again?
one's up there.
I think it was Micah Dallas scored an NIL deal with Pringles.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a great
solid.
NIL deal. to
That's
score.
solid.
What else, B? One more.
What do we think about Pringles? What's y'all's favorite Pringle?
I know. Listen, I get barbecue.
All of them.
Is it
I get
pizza? Is it
barbecue. Here's what I do.
Is it the sweet?
Here's what I do.
Okay.
I get barbecue Pringles, a can. I get jalapeno Pringles, a can. I open both the cans. I combine them together like you see on the commercial for a little hot barbecue chip Pringle style. It's the move. Goes great with ribs. Goes good with steak. I don't know. Goes good while you're laying in bed watching some documentary on Netflix. It just goes good with everything. You can put ice cream on it. You can rub it all over yourself. Who knows? Cone, what do you think about that? You do that.
Cone, you can rub it all over yourself.
I'm trying to think a word that I can support you but still not go.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting.
Oh, okay.
Well, sounds interesting.
It is what it is. All right, to the board. Up plus 2.5 units. Again, I'm taking some dog bets this month. Serious dog bets this month. We're going for units
today?
and reg. I'm going one dog today.
Okay.
Going one dog today, one favorite. We're going to start in college baseball because why the hell not? Shout out our boy Mincy. Love you, man. Going to get you on, talk some College World Series once we get into it. Also, there's no pitching left. Arkansas and Oklahoma State, it's been more offensive than what Amber Heard does on mattresses. So give me Arkansas, Oklahoma State over 14.5 runs. Over 2 touchdowns, fellas. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that type of emotional about it. That's minus 15. We'll see how it goes. Listen, let's go 8-8 third inning. Let's not worry about it anymore. Then
8-8 third.
I'm going back and forth on this. I want to think that Edmonton still cares.
It's on the board.
I'm going to pick it. I'm trying to explain it. I want to think that Edmonton still cares. The Avs, are they pissed about the hit on Cadre by Kane? I'd be. But you're at home, Edmonton. Y'all are singing the Canadian national anthem, and you're letting everybody down. What's new, Canada? Figure it out. I'm going to Edmonton, money line. What's it at? Who cares? Plus 114. Don't let me down again, or I will go to Canada. Actually, you know what? I'm not. I won't go to Canada. How about that ever? Go ahead. Unless Drake invites me. Unless Drake invites me. Then I'll go.
Look, Toronto in the 6.
The 6?
I could go to the 6.
The 6? For
So
sure.
you're taking Oilers money line.
I'm taking Oilers money line.
Tell me
Well, you believe more than I do. But, maybe they do still have some pride and they'll at least play tough defense. So I want to take the under in the Avs-Oilers game. Under 7 at minus 135. Could they score 15 combined goals? Yeah, they could. They could. But, I'm going to take some under. Have some pride, play defense on both ends of the ice. And then I want the D-backs. First 5, I get a plus half run at minus 135.
Okay.
With Madison Bumgarner on the mound.
Bummy.
Just shove it for 5.
Bummy.
He's going to shove it and try and fight somebody at some point during every game.
Who else is on the mound against him? There's a nice...
Is it a nice little matchup?
It was...
It's Hunter Greens.
Hunter Green. Oh, yeah, Hunter Green for the Reds.
That'd be a good one.
He's out there slinging.
No, I'm good.
That'd be a good
You're good on that?
Like over a 6 ERA. Trying to find those mismasters.
I love that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of... It hurt me today when I pulled up the MLB thing on the multiple sites I get on for betting. I didn't see the best team in baseball playing today. That's the New York.
The Dodgers are playing it.
The New York Yankees aren't playing today. I'm going to ride the Yankees hard this year.
I don't think you're crazy.
Because they just keep winning, but this is what I'm going to take. Really didn't like the slate today, but I'm going to take, I found it minus 200.
Ooh.
Right? I believe I found it on Barstool. I want the over. I know you took the under, all right, but I'll push if you win.
Wait, you're taking the over in the hockey?
I'm taking over 6.
I'm over at 6.
So really, Cone.
It smells like a 4-2 game to me.
So you got the over at the 6. What are the odds?
Yeah.
Oh, minus 200.
Minus 200. Yeah, minus 200.
Okay.
I feel like at least it'll be a 4-2 game. That empty netter will at least help me push. And I'm fine with pushing right now. I want to see you get a dub. All right, this is what else I'm going to take. I'm going to take the under. I believe it's the Padres Mets game.
Yep.
All right, look, I face Blake Snell. I'll play on the Twins. All right, on my MLB.
For your MLB
game,
The Show?
I face Blake Snell a lot. I know he hadn't had a great outing, his first outing, but the kid's nasty with it. I'm talking 96, 97 heater, nice slider. Guess what? Slider, curveball, change up low and outside away. It's a problem. All right, I believe in Blake Snell somewhat. So I'm going to take the under. I went the alternative route right here. Alternative total runs in the first 5. So give me the under at 4.5 for the first 5. Okay, I believe it's at minus 174.
Yep.
I feel great about it. The Mets have been swinging the stick a little bit, but I feel Blake, the crafty lefty, is going to dance around the plate for the first 5.
Again, I will continue to say the Mets look great. Y'all keep playing good. I'm just waiting on the train wreck because it's coming.
What if it never comes?
Then I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong. I'm not going to be the first one that sat there and the train never showed up. Again, Dad went out to get milk, never came back.
What?
So here's what Baby Cone's got. Avs money line.
He's going 2.
We're going against each other, right? I don't know how to feel about this, but the last time I went head up against Baby Cone, David, I won.
Let's go, Baby Cone.
I won. But I do not like making Adam upset. And you did this to me. So the Mets money line as well, Baby Cone, plus 100. We'll see how it goes. Let's read some booster bets as I go back and sit down ominously. EJ Runis, 5-0, wants the Blue Jays money line minus 174. Blue Jays starting to play better. It's amazing. They're starting to play better. That's my World Series pick. They got just a bunch of good players' kids. Biggio, Guerrero Jr., keep Bichette, keep doing it.
Yankees.
Dinkin Flicka 27 wants the Astros money line. He's 5-0 at -165. Trevor Robinson's 4-0 wants the Astros money line. Same thing.
Heavy
JT Bryan
Astros
12 3-0. Toronto comes out of the first 5 in the lead -118. Tennyson Tipton Avs money line -125. V. Cercio 2-0 wants the Avs over 37.5 shots on goal. That's not a bad bet. I mean, they take more shots than a sorority girl at a mixer. And then Boring Florida Man wants the Avs money line. He's 2-0. Steve the Pirate. Arg. Who is that guy? His 3-0 wants the Astros money line -164. Wildcat Cubs fans 1-0 wants Avs Oilers to score over 1.5 goals in the first period. Would not be shocked by that at all. It's -165, I believe. The new Boost Club member, Win 21-14 is 0-0, and he's taking the Avs money line. I hate to see him start 0-1, but welcome to the party, buddy. Booster Club, Lane.
Yeah, I was going to look up who the Astros got today. We're heavy on the Astros.
A lot of people are heavy on Houston right now.
Heavy on that.
Speaking of Houston, could we have Houston head coach Dana Holgerson on the show soon? I don't know. Maybe.
All right, Mike says Baby Cone leads by example.
He does. He does.
He does.
That's why we respect him and honor him here.
The Green Soldier says,
Green Soldier!
If UGA makes it to the college football playoff, they have a chance. Curious to see how their defense turns out.
Green Soldier.
Again, they're going to bring soldiers
see
back. Listen, they're going to be good. I'm telling you guys right now, Georgia's not going to be out. I will say this. I'm starting, and I never get this way, I'm starting to get a little nervy about this Alabama offensive line. I'm starting to get a little bit worried about it. I don't trust Cohen a lot, the Javian Cohen kid. I know they got Steen. I know they're going to be good, Blaine. I know they're going to be good. And Bryce Young will help hide a lot of things. But part of me's still a little bit worried about this Alabama offensive line early. They'll destroy Texas. Not worried about that. But if they do go up against Georgia and that offensive line is not elite, Georgia has shown the ability to box Bryce Young.
The offensive line wasn't elite last year.
They were better than what they have this year. Evan Neal? Let me go down the list.
Evan, but I mean, they had a bunch of guys return.
I mean, they had like 2 or 3 guys.
But they weren't great last year. Like,
no, but they were good enough.
You go watch that Auburn game. It was
Georgia's defense isn't
terrible.
What it was last year. But
yeah,
they didn't get up for Auburn the way
I'm saying. Like, they're not going to be bad. That's for sure. I don't even think there'll be a liability. Alabama's going to roll people.
Oh, I'm picking them to win the Natty. I'm just in a one-off game with the type of aliens that Georgia has on defense. It can be a little weird. I mean,
Bryce Young, that's the difference.
I could not agree more. I could not agree more.
Also, the Astros have the Mariners.
Oh, that's why.
It's in Houston, and Houston's throwing Christian Javier,
Not
and
bad.
Mariners are throwing Robbie Ray.
Ooh, Robbie Ray, I think he's 4-6.
Is he?
Yeah, now it's starting to make sense. Anything else from the Booster Club, Lane? Parting thoughts?
El Vaughn says, Cone, how quick are you going to turn on this Michigan baseball game? Apparently it's getting pretty good.
We're going to go turn it on right now.
Yeah, we'll turn it on right when we get off the show. We got about 3 minutes until we go, and it's just college baseball all day. And then hopefully the Oilers can just do one thing I asked just once. You helped Blaine out. Connor McDavid scored in the first 30 seconds of the freaking game last time.
It just felt right. You know, I started off 1-3. Didn't feel good about a lot of things. All right, didn't. Next thing you know, I think I went 3-1.
Yeah.
3-0-1. I haven't lost.
I do have to say, the ribs you made this weekend, Cone,
Thank
Plate.
you, sir.
you done did it again.
Thank you, sir.
You done did
That was
it
good.
again.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, Travis Elrod says, do you think about getting Ben Shapiro to the Mississippi State game on Thanksgiving?
If it's not on a Saturday, I think it's doable. Remember, we had Ben on. The reason he said he's not a huge college football fan because on Saturdays, they have a holiday. So I'm trying to figure out my way around it. I'm trying to build a time machine, and there's some things that I'm trying to work around it. There's only a couple ways for this to happen. I don't want to be the time traveler's wife's husband. That makes sense.
All right, Aaron Selby says, hey, guys, try not to lose to a baby this month.
You're right, Aaron. The baby makes all the picks. Looks it up and makes all the picks.
He does.
He does. He does.
Santa's real.
I'm not even being condescending or being sarcastic at all.
I've had to hear a lot about
it.
it
You think
at the
Santa's
house.
getting hurt by all this inflation right now?
Santa?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Not helping.
It's not helping.
them.
Not
not
Dark
helping.
days in the North Pole.
All that money.
Dark days.
I mean, you talking about the supply chain. This guy makes one of everything.
Well, a lot of people don't realize. Santa Claus robs a couple banks every Christmas.
No one knows.
Nobody
How
knows.
do you know?
Again, the
Why
man
did you tell
has
me that?
flying
Why
reindeer.
did you tell me that?
He
Why
can
did you tell
sneak
me
down a chimney. Nobody knows he's there. Why couldn't he get into the
Well,
vault?
with-
Now I'm in danger.
With a brother like Fred,
For sure.
Fred Claus is going in the bank.
Listen, I don't
He's getting
trust
everything
Santa.
out
I
there.
think Santa's been embezzling from the United States
did you just say?
for years. And
How
I'll prove
dare
it.
you.
I'll
dare
you
you.
just said you don't trust Santa. Well, now I don't trust you.
Well, good, because I
Good.
don't trust him.
Good.
And the minute you see him in the North Pole leaving in handcuffs when the FBI
We'll
gets
see
him
about that.
for embezzling,
You'll never get your hands on him, FBI. He's
Yeah.
out of the country.
you see those new golds on reindeer's front teeth? I mean, on
No.
Rudolph's front
You
teeth?
got
do that
Rudolph's
to
driving
Rudolph.
Chargers.
Yeah, Rudolph the
Camaros.
gold-teeth
It doesn't
reindeer.
go well with the red nose.
I'm telling you, Santa's a fraud. Anyways, tomorrow.
That's a bold take.
Yeah.
I've heard some hot takes, but that's not hot
Well,
take.
okay.
How dare you?
Listen,
How
I'm just
dare.
again, I'm not saying you'll find out today. I'm not saying you'll find out next week or next Christmas, but eventually at some point you will turn on the TV and you will see Santa Claus being put into a North Pole squad car by some elves in police gear because they got their own police
I
force.
won't let it happen.
They got their own police
I won't
force.
let it happen. I will put together a team.
You'll put together
A team
to protect Santa
to
Claus.
protect Santa Claus.
That'd make a good film.
Wow, this show is going off the rails
Come
at the
on.
end.
Outer
But
space
that'd make a great
versus
movie.
inner Earth.
A-Team edition.
That's good. That's good. All right, we appreciate you joining us. Look, merch. Go get some right now. Get it. Makes a great Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving. You just got out of prison, gift, whatever. Make sure you check it out, dailywire.com/shop. We'll be back tomorrow with more great guests, more information, and like the chances of Arkansas and Oklahoma State not scoring at least 15 combined runs, we're going, gone.